Hi, I'm John. Have you ever thought about packing your bags, ditching the routine, setting off on a solo adventure? Sounds pretty exciting, right? Well, let me tell you a thing or two about the other side of the coin, because sometimes these lone voyages can take a dark turn into truly terrifying experiences. So today, we are sharing 3 true horror stories of people who traveled alone. But before that, subscribe to the channel and hold your heart because this is going to be really breathtaking. Story number 1. Once upon a time in 2010, I planned a long journey in my beloved Ford F-150. My destination was Georgia. Leaving my home in Pennsylvania, I spent a week with my kin in the peaceful countryside of Georgia. The trip was a challenging 14-hour drive that I decided to complete in a single day. My adventure started at 10 a.m. After a while, I paused for a light lunch at a small deli. Then, 4 hours later, I halted at a rest area to devour the tasty turkey sandwiches I had packed in my cooler. Having refueled myself, I planned not to stop except for refilling my trunk's gas tank, one more time of course. When I filled up my tank for the last stretch of the journey, it was around 11:30 p.m. The estimated time to reach my cousin's house was around 12:30. Although I was tired, I didn't get coffee at the gas station. The GPS gave me an unusual route away from the highway through some countryside roads. Driving a high truck, I had a great view of everything. My truck's light bar was very helpful in lighting up the pitch black roads. Although I was tired, I couldn't stop because I was very close to my cousin's house. My journey took a strange turn when I came to a stop sign and made a left. The road turned even quieter, with no buildings or houses in sight, only woodland flanking either side, with no other cars around. I was driving around 50 to 60 miles per hour. Suddenly, I saw 4 shiny objects ahead in the road. I quickly braked, and as I got closer, I found out they were traffic drums, or giant traffic cones. Thanks to my quick reflexes, my truck came to a halt before hitting the drums. With my baseball bat in hand and feeling puzzled, I got out of my truck. I went over to the traffic drums and saw something eerie behind them. A spiked trap, the kind police use. I felt confused. Was there some kind of police activity? Or was it a trap set by someone? Cautiously, I looked around and returned to my truck. Then I heard someone scream for help from the woods on the left. However, I wasn't brave enough to venture into those woods. The farthest I went was on the edge of the road, looking into the forest, trying to see something in the light from my truck's headlights. Then, out of my eye, I saw a figure hiding behind the bushes. Not panicking, I slowly walked back to my truck. Once inside, I saw 2 figures advancing from the woods towards my truck. I quickly drove my truck to the right side of the road, onto the dirt, and past the spiked trap. Looking in the rearview mirror, I saw at least 3 figures standing by the traffic drums, illuminated momentarily by the taillights of my truck. Seconds later, they disappeared out of my sight forever. This event was something I had never imagined or expected, but nonetheless, I'm just glad I lived to tell the tale. Story number 2. When I was 16 years old, I left home and ran away. At a very young age, I have had a passion for traveling. I wanted to explore places alone, so I decided to go on a solo trip. I was going to Angel Falls in Canaima National Park, which is in South America. I knew the jungle was dense and maze-like, so staying here until late at night would be dangerous for any type of traveler. But I felt a deep connection with nature this time. I also heard some people humming along with it. The voice sounded as if some people were performing a strange prayer. I followed it for about 10 minutes, until I ran towards the light in the darkness, reaching a small gate. When I knocked, there was no response. I didn't hear anyone's footsteps either. This time, instead of hearing the sound of someone walking, I heard murmuring from the other side. When the door opened, I saw no one inside. It was completely dark ahead. Tell you what, it felt spooky. In the darkness, I could only see two glowing eyes. Honestly, I wasn't going to move forward from this point, but a whole man came out in the evening and stood in front of me. He was a tall man, wearing a white robe, looking exactly like a sage. He let me come in. I followed the man inside, feeling intrigued. When I looked up at the ceiling, I saw very strange paintings. It was all very eerie. He took me to a small room, and there he asked me to rest. So I did. Maybe that's why he asked me to wear a red robe. I changed my clothes and laid down on the bed to rest. I was happy that I finally found a place to spend the night. About half an hour later, someone knocked on my room door, asking me to pick up the phone. It was the same man, but I didn't know the dinner was me. Yes, they were all monks who had stayed there for years. They were actually practicing a ritual where they would cut me into pieces and offer me to their gods. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I stumbled upon a group of people who were planning on sacrificing me for their religious beliefs. Fear gripped me as I tried to come up with an escape plan and somehow managed to find a way out of the room. I ran towards the gate and finally saved my life. Story number 3. In the chilly winter of 2018, Claire, my girlfriend, and I decided to take a week off from work. To avoid freezing weather, we chose a lovely beach resort in Mexico. The ocean there was a stunning shade of crystal blue, and the weather was just right. Not only was this beach resort reasonably priced for a 1-week exclusive package, but it also had several amenities. There was a buffet, 3 swimming pools located right on the beach, plenty of bars, a space for entertainment, and numerous group activities. We were set for an entire week of fun-filled activities, which we had planned in advance. We decided to relax for the first few days, enjoying our package's unlimited drinks and exploring the resort leisurely. The resort's surroundings were beautiful. It was enveloped in dense jungle on one side, and picturesque roads on the other. On the 3rd day, we hired a private shuttle to the nearest car rental place. However, the shuttle driver warned us not to venture too far off the coast. It could get dangerous. This didn't stop us from renting a Ford Fiesta from the car rental place, located in a small town about 5 miles up the road from our resort. The city had one long road running through it, surrounded by miles of jungle and a few small towns. It was also dotted with many resorts. We drove south on this road until we reached Tulum, a city our friends highly talked about. However, the Tulum we saw was less attractive than what we imagined. Not wishing to judge too soon, we further into the Tulum area, but then we stumbled onto a dirt road leading into the jungle. We thought, why not drive through it and see its wonders? As we drove down this broad dirt road, surrounded by miles of jungle on either side, we enjoyed the view and the little thrill of off-roading. However, Claire was concerned about driving our rented car on such a path. We decided to make a U-turn and head back to the main road to avoid any potential trouble. But things didn't go as smoothly as we thought. 3 men interrupted us as we walked out of the jungle onto the road. As soon as we spotted them, we felt a sinking feeling, sensing trouble on the horizon. They approached our car, and one of them started speaking to us in Spanish. Neither Claire nor I spoke Spanish well, so things quickly escalated. One man even pulled out a knife from his pocket. I hit the gas pedal in a split second, and we escaped. After the scary encounter, we didn't feel like exploring any further and decided to park our car in the resort's parking lot. Shaken, but not wanting to completely waste our vacation, we followed the resort staff's recommendation to visit a nearby cenote the next day. This trip also led us to a similar dirt path. However, our peaceful moment was interrupted by an unsettling feeling of being followed. Sure enough, a man came out of nowhere with a large knife in his back pocket. Claire and I started running as fast as we could, with the man giving chase behind us. We barely reached our car before 3 more people emerged and tried to break into it. Luckily, we managed to drive away before they could break the windows. This series of unfortunate events left us disheartened. We decided to spend the rest of our vacation in the safety of our resort. We reported these incidents to the resort staff to warn other guests, and although we haven't returned to Mexico since then, we're unsure if we'll ever do so. Our experience showed us that even supposedly safer areas near the resorts could pose unseen dangers. We learned the hard way to be more cautious and trust our instincts while traveling. So if you like this video, subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and wait for the next video with your fingers crossed.